Dr. Umar is on stage. He's going to be questioned live, okay, about why the school is not open. What's up with the school, as it says here. Let's go.
For black excellence! You know, you've been getting a lot of slack about your school. People saying, what's going on with the school? I love the good and the bad. Let hate that. So hate is the oxygen I use to elevate. Hate me if you want. Tell them, when we talked about the school, first give them an update of where you are.
Umar's thinking like, I wish you didn't ask me this question, because we'll go on and ask it anyway. I really wish you didn't ask me this question, but go. I gotta think of a lot. Go on and ask me that question anyway.
With the school, yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, first of all, 2014, I took my first donation for FDMG in St. Louis, Missouri. 2019, we purchased a 4-building former black charter school campus in Wilmington, Delaware. That's where we are. This is 2025, so 5 years to buy the school, 6 years to renovate the school.
Okay, 5 years to buy the school, based on he said 6 years to renovate the school. So what renovations have been done? All right, he says everything's finished. The HVAC, he just said that the electricity system was stripped, okay, in the last video, which I showed you, and that was this year, a few months ago. But I guess that's already, okay, that's been fixed. All right, so all he needs is what now?
Right now, all renovations are done except we got to tile the floor and rekey the classrooms.
Okay, because I know people were saying, you know, the ceiling is open, all kind of stuff. And Umar said, oh, no, it's open because they're trying to work on certain, wiring and things like that. That's why it's open. It's not because we don't have the ceiling fixed. All right, okay, so he said all it is they need to rekey the classrooms.
6 years to renovate the school. Right now, all renovations are done except we got to tile the floor and rekey the classrooms. Cosmetic surgery. Once we tile the floor and rekey the classrooms, which will be done by the end of this summer, we're going to apply for our certificate of occupancy. And once we get our certificate of occupancy, we're going to have a grand opening celebration, and all y'all better be there. But if you hated on me, keep your ass in Cleveland.
Okay, so he's in Cleveland, saying that by the end of the summer, which we're approaching right now, we're approaching September. All right, a few days from September, as I'm making this video, he's saying, look, everything gonna be done. That's literally what he just said. All right, so essentially, the school's cosmetic work needs to be done. It's a few little things, rekeying some doors, and the school will be ready to open. But wait, okay, wait a second, there's more. He's not opening up, y'all, an apartment building, is he? Is he opening up, a playground? No, he's opening up a school. What is required to actually open up a school? Because this is the piece of the puzzle that Umar never talks about, okay? What are all the departments required for a private school? I just put it in a Google search. What are all the departments required for a private school? Okay, we have here, while department structures can vary based on a private school's size, mission, and resources, all schools require core departments to manage academics, administration, student life, admissions, and support services. Understand also that Dr. Umar's school is a school, like he always says, like no other school. It's not funded by the government at all. Receives no money from the white man at all. Basically, that's basically what he always says. All right, so it's all from the community, so that makes it even harder. Nothing wrong with that. If that's what you would do, you can do. There's nothing wrong with that. All right, and that would be a groundbreaking thing for that to happen. If you can have a school that's totally fully funded by black folks, which I'm sure there probably are schools like that also. But he says it's the first thing. If that's the case, okay, great. But there's a lot that goes into outside of just putting in some cosmetic work, okay? Because if it was that simple, anybody could just find a building that's already ready and just start a school immediately, okay? But it's more to it than that. Let's see what we have here. Core administrative departments. These departments manage the overall functioning of the school and are essential for its governance and legal operation. We have administration headed by the head of the school, prince or dean. So that will be Dr. Umar, okay? This department provides overall leadership, okay? So we'll say, okay, well, that's Dr. Umar. Will he be the dean? It includes key positions like academic dean, dean of the students, okay? And division heads for different grades, okay? So he can't do all of them. So these are people that he needs, all right? Then we have here business and finance, responsible for the school's fiscal health. This department manages budgets, tuitions, financial aid, and payroll. In some cases, it also oversees federal and state funding compliance. Well, not Dr. Umar want to get to the state funding, so we don't have to worry about that. Okay, he's going to find the finances just from people, those ungrateful Negroes that haven't sent him enough money. He's going to get money from them. Okay, admissions and enrollment management. This office is tasked with recruiting and retaining students. It oversees the application process and often works closely with the marketing and communications team. All right, marketing and communications. This department manages the school's public image, branding, and promotional efforts to attract prospective students and families. Okay, it develops a consistent brand message to be used in admissions materials and on the school's website. All right, now let's try to find an FDMG school. Okay, I just put it in FDMG school website, and we see this is a Philemon M.D. Agostino, I guess I say Greenberg Music School, so that's not it. Then we have Dr. Umar Johnson. Okay, this is his website. But you know what? Somebody made me say, well, you didn't spell it right. So let me put in here the proper spelling. All right, Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy School. Let's find the website. Hold on. As you can see, I spelled it out. Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy website. And as we look here, we see nothing. There's the website. So school does not even have a website. All right, doesn't even have a website. He said all of this time, as he just said, since 2019, that's 6 years, but they don't even have a website. All right, but people will say that we're not giving him enough time. We're not giving him enough time. We're not giving him enough grace. But he doesn't even have a website. All right, now why is that important? Because he doesn't have a website. All these other positions that he needs, he doesn't have them either, because he doesn't even do the easiest thing. Making a website is the easiest thing. Okay, I made websites myself. You could have hit me up, or anyone who does it could have had it done in 2 days, or maybe even a day. It's not hard to make a website, but he didn't even take the money that he had to even make that. He didn't even think to do that. All right, so let's go here instead. Dr. Umar Johnson. This is his website. It seems like it. Okay, Dr. Umar lecture tickets. All right, so if we scroll down, it says President Pan-Africanism, King of Conscious. All right, where's seminars? I've been here one time before. Let's scroll down. Okay, he's selling a book here. Nothing wrong with trying to sell something to support what you're doing. Okay, so we're scrolling down. So we got different seemingly tiers they want you to enter into for FDMG membership: bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond. Let's see how much diamond costs. $1,000. Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey International Academy, diamond. This is probably a monthly. Okay, make this monthly donation. Okay, we're not going to do that. All right. Let's continue, y'all. All right. So senior donations. All right. Scrolling down. And decline all there. Scrolling down. Books and lectures. Is there a link to the school website? No. Okay. Keep connected with Dr. Umar. Call, email, FDMG resumes, donations. Okay, different social media links here. Donate to Dr. Umar personally. Okay. All right. And it is updated at the bottom. It says 2026. Okay, so that at least his personal page is updated. Okay. Let's look at his Dr. Umar resumes. I also want to see the FDMG resumes. Excuse me. Okay, so they want you to open it up with one of these. I'm not going to do that right now. All right. Call Dr. Umar. And he has their videos of being on the Breakfast Club. So the Breakfast Club is definitely helping him out. As you can see, he's posted their videos to push his legitimacy as a doctor. Okay? So in other words, the school has none of the core things that it needs when it pertains to people and the children, which are people that will be coming to the school. It's a building. All right? You could actually say, in all of those 6 years, all Dr. Umar has done is simply spend a small amount of money to help renovate the physical school. But he could have, with the same amount of money, or maybe a little bit more, okay, bought a school that was actually ready. All right, see what I'm saying? It took him 6 years to get HVAC done. This is what he said the school needed. Not my words, his words. The school needed HVAC, needed electrical work. Did it take 6 years because he didn't? It was like the school, was like the exterior of the school was destroyed. It was intact. All right, it was actually intact. So all he needed to do was interior work. But he had at least $1 million to do the interior work. Did it take him 6 years to do interior work? All right, with $1 million, it took him that long. All right, but let's continue for people that still believe in him. All right, we have here next advancement development. This department focuses on fundraising and donor relations. Somebody say, "Oh, Dr. Umar does all the fundraising." Okay, let's go. Let's scroll down. He'll be the principal. I don't know how he could do all the fundraising. He's also the principal at the same time. All right, academic departments. The academic departments are crucial for designing and delivering the curriculum. The specific departments will vary with grade 11 K through 12, but typically include core subject areas: English, language arts, mathematics, science, social studies, history, and world languages. Okay, specialty subjects: art and music, physical education. Okay, so we gotta have a gym there, something. Computer science, technology, student life and support departments. These departments manage students' well-being, extracurricular activities. And mind you, remember also, Dr. Umar has said many times that the black boys at times would stay at the school. All right. Now, I've not read everything that he said about the school. Okay, so if I'm not mentioning something, I apologize. I apologize when I've read everything he said about the school. But I do remember hearing him saying that boys will sometimes stay overnight. Okay, and if they acted bad or whatever, if they did whatever, he would keep them overnight or keep them for the whole weekend. He actually said. Okay, so this school is not like a regular school for him to be able to do even that. So I'm just saying to say that in his case, there are more departments that would be needed. Okay, than what we're even seeing right here or Google. Student affairs, often managed by a dean of the students. This office handles student conduct, discipline, and over. What did Dr. Umar say? I'm gonna bash your head a little boy. I'm gonna bash your head a little boy. That's the discipline that Dr. Umar wants to divvy out to your children. All right. So often managed by a dean of the students. This office handles student conduct, discipline. Dr. Umar guess will be disciplining the boys by beating them. All right. And overall student wellness. This is particularly important for boarding schools that offer residential life programs. Athletics, okay, manage all sports teams. Let's keep going down. Extracurriculars, okay. Overseas clubs, events, and other non-athletic activities. Health and wellness. This department may include school nurses, counselors, and support centers focused on emotional, social, and physical health, guidance, and college counseling. Okay, let's scroll down. Operations and facility departments. These are operational departments that ensure the school's physical plant and service run smoothly. Technology, IT. Okay, we have here facilities maintenance. Okay, we have here security. Auxiliary programs manages and coordinates non-academic activities such as after-school programs, summer camps, and event planning. Food and nutrition services oversees the school dining halls and food programs, either in-house or through a third-party vendor. Factors in now, of course, Dr. Umar was saying, brother, all of these things I know, brother. I don't need any help. I already know these things, brother. I worked in schools. I already know all this stuff, brother. As if him working in a school, doing a specific job as a school psychologist, which is what he alleges, gives him now the understanding to know how to run an entire school and put it together from scratch, which is exactly what he's doing here, okay? He has all of the understanding for all of these departments, all right? Factors influencing department structure, all right? A private school's size and mission, all right, can dictate how these departments are staffed and organized. So we got a lot here. Small schools may combine several departments under a single administrator. For example, a head of a school might also oversee missions and advancement. Larger schools have more specialized departments with dedicated staff, from a director of development to separate division heads for different grade levels. Boarding schools, specialty schools, okay? So it's a lot here. It's a lot here, all right? And we go on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So when he says, listen, all we gotta do is just tile the floor. It's easy. Is it really that easy? He literally said in this video.
That's where we are. This is 2025. So 5 years to buy the school, 6 years to renovate the school. Right now, all renovations are done except we gotta tile the floor and rekey the classrooms. Cosmetic surgery. Once we tile the floor and rekey the classrooms, which will be done by the end of this summer, we're going to apply for our certificate of occupancy. And once we get our certificate of occupancy, we're going to have a grand opening celebration, and all y'all better be there. But if you hated on me...
Now, it's smart for him not to say when. He said after we do that, we'll have a grand opening. That could be whenever. Because he knows that's not going to happen. That's why he didn't say when. All right. Now, understand, and the reason I'm making this video is to let you guys understand, the hardest part about making a school is not buying the property. The hardest part about making a school is actually maintaining the school. All right. It's not even getting all those positions that I just told you. It's actually maintaining the school. All right. The school that I went to, like I told you guys before, it was started in a thrift store. All right. It was started in the back of a thrift store, the school that I attended as an elementary school student. Okay. It's called the Jubilee School in Philadelphia. It was started in the back of a thrift store. And then as time went on, the principal learned how to get different help, different grants, get different donors. Okay, she did a lot of work. This is before the internet. This is in the 80s, before there was any internet. Okay, and now they purchased another building, and then some time ago they purchased more property. They put on, they as an addition, and made the school go from like it went up. It used to go up to 6th grade, and now it goes up to 8th grade, I believe. Okay, or maybe even high school. Okay, the school grew and grew, but it took years and years for that to happen when it comes to the grades and stuff like that. Now you may say, well, if you can admit that the school took years to grow, why wouldn't you give Umar grace? Okay, the problem once again is not that we're not saying look, or I'm saying look, it's taking time to do it. It's the fact that in the time that is passed, in the time that's elapsed, he has not done anything except for getting electric done, getting HVAC done. That's the problem. That's why people are calling him to account and saying, what are you doing with the money? Okay, because years have passed and he's done barely anything. You understand what I'm saying? Whereas with my school that I went to, they were pushing the changes stuff and doing stuff the whole entire time. But like I said, the hardest part is not even, and I'm saying from seeing this with my own eyes, the hardest part is not even getting all that stuff, which is still hard, is actually maintaining the school. Okay. It's been so many times when I was going to Jubilee School and when I left Jubilee School and hearing from people that are over the school how the school was at threat of not meeting his budget. Okay, teachers were working and sometimes they didn't have the money to pay them. Okay, and they had to do all this kind of stuff and a miracle would happen. I mean, a miracle would happen and then the money will come. All kind of, I mean, it's just so many miracles this school has seen. All right, that's the hardest part, is maintaining that stuff. All right. But even the next step, which Dr. Umar says he has to take, which is getting all those people there, which he does, that I'm telling you that he needs to take, which he, of course, doesn't even want to mention, okay? Because he knows that the people that are in love with him wouldn't even think of that. What about all these administrative roles that have to be filled, Dr. Umar? Where are they? Where are those people at? Oh, Dr. Umar says, look, when the school's ready, I'll just snap my finger like Thanos and everybody would just come. I'm a world-renowned scholar. People would just come. Okay, let's take that at face value and believe that, okay, if that were to happen, how are you going to maintain the school? With the temperament that you have, how are you going to maintain the school? Are you going to continue to come online while you're the dean or whatever of the school, the principal of the school, and at the same time, as you're the principal of the school, be online, talk about some donations all day long? All right? With the temperament that you have, when you're saying 10% of black boys need to be taken off of the face of the earth, you know, KIL, you know the rest I want to say in the word, okay? Because the way YouTube is, basically, unalived. Okay, that's literally what this man said. That with that temperament, do you believe this man can maintain a school? All right. When this man said, "I'm gonna bash your head," a little boy, saying that he would actually bash young black men's heads in who are attending his school. Do you think that school would last, even if it were to somehow open up? A lot of y'all are at his rallies. Okay, you just an Umar hater. No, I'm not an Umar hater. I'm a realist. All right, we are realists. We use our brains and we think. All right, we use our brains and we think. We use our eyes and we see. We use our ears and we hear. All right. We can look at the temperament of this man and we say, well, he may start the school and then step back and let someone else rule over the school. Do you think that this man would do that? Well, all that he does, you think he would allow someone else to speak for the school? When have you seen Dr. Umar at any time go around and have someone else speak for the school? Or his assistant principal speak for the school, which at this point, 6 years into the game, from when he bought the building, he should have all of those people already ready. All right. But he has no one. How do you know he has no one? Because if he has anyone, he would have put them on TV. He would have put them online for you to see them. But he has no one. He doesn't want anyone. The school is nothing more. The building of FDMG is nothing more than a piece of a scam. It's a prop for a scam. Years ago, I was down part of Philadelphia, and this man said, hey, buddy, do you know where this church is? True story. Do you know where this church is? He was a scammer. And I didn't know that. And he looked at me and assumed that I was a nice guy. He said, you know, a nice guy who could be duped, I should say. And he said, you know where this church is? And he seemed to be an African, okay? And I said, I never heard of it, but I said, he says right down the block somewhere, right down the block. When we were under the L train, you know, that was above us. And I was looking and I couldn't see anything. Well, I said, well, let me look at my phone, buddy. I looked at my phone and he told me the name of the church. I looked it up. I said, oh, it seems to be right down here. I said, you just walk down there. But the guy said, oh, man, I'm from Africa. I'm from some Nigeria, wherever he was from. He said, it's just too confusing for me. It's just too confusing for me. Could you help me? Could you help me? And I had to be so I said, listen, sir, you know, I can't help you right now, but look, just go straight. Based on what the GPS says, you'll be able to find it. But the man insisted. He said, oh, come on, I need your help. I need your help. Now, at this point, I saw there was another black guy walking, hovering around us. So I assumed to myself, okay, maybe this guy is trying to help him out. Maybe he'll lead him down the block. So the guy kind of was walking around us in a circle. So the man, the true story, the African guy, or supposed African guy, pulled out a wad of cash. I mean, a big roll of cash, okay? Look real. And he said, listen, I will give you this money. I will give you this money right here. Like, he was acting like he didn't know English that well, or like he didn't know what he was doing. He didn't know the value of the money that he had in his hand. He said, I will give you this money. I will give you this money, okay? And then he came up with some weird story where he was saying that he wanted to hold some of my money, so he to exchange with that. Something I can't remember. This was years ago, guys. But as I looked at the man walking around us, something clicked, and I realized all of this is fake. All of this is a lie. It's all a scam. It's all a lie. All right. He looked at me engaged that I was a Christian and said, okay, he's probably a Christian, you know. I'll throw some Christian terms at him and see if he you know, if those things go over well with him. Make sure he's a Christian. I'll bring in the church scam lie, all right, and run the play. Okay, I'll just run that play and see if it works, all right, on him. And thank God I realized, wait a second, this is not true. All right, those guys could have, you know, jumped me for all I know, robbed me, or anything could happen. Okay. But I said, no, I'm all right. I thought, wow, what an elaborate scam. These guys literally sit home all day and think about how they can scam people. They don't, while you at work, they're not at work. They're sitting at home trying to think about how they can steal the money that you made at work. All right. Dr. Umar sitting here, not mentioning any of the roles that I just went over that need to be in place for him to open up a school. Doesn't mention none of them. It just says, look, once we get the tiles, everything's going to be open. Okay. Expert scammer. Why is he not locked up? Why has he been able to do all this kind of stuff? Why is it that I, a YouTuber struggle streamer, as he calls us, are able to day by day unravel his web of lies? But the government can't do that. But the FBI can't do that. Now you see why we call him, and why I call him a government plan. I believe it's a government plan, because I can see this stuff even in a short video, maybe from a YouTube short, but the government can't seem to see that. Okay, but they can arrest these rappers for every little thing. They can find a rapper that has weed, okay, in his bag, in his bag that he had amongst 50 bags. They can find that he has an ounce of weed in there and arrest him on tour. But they can't see Dr. Umar blatantly lying, blatantly taking funds from people, all right, and mismanaging it, blatantly lying and saying that his bank accounts were frozen with the bank that he went to since he was a teen, which he doesn't want to mention for some odd reason. He just doesn't want to mention the bank to put them on blast, all right. All these things don't add up. Right around the time, okay, like I said, what favorable timing that the bank's being frozen? What happened right around the time when the school needed 70 grand and he didn't have the money. All right, so you know the government can't see it, but we can. Does that make any sense? No, it doesn't. All right, make sure to hit the like button, y'all, if y'all can. Share this video. All right, this is just something to think about when people like Umar and his followers say y'all are trying to keep a black man down. Y'all not giving him time. It's not that we're not giving him time. If you look at the time that he's had the schools, he's done almost nothing, all right, to fix them. He's painted the schools. We've seen that. He's painted Iraq. Not hard to do. If he's got the HVAC done, that can be done within a week. True story, it can be done in a week or weeks, okay? It's not that hard to do, to fix HVAC, all right? To fix the air conditioning, to fix the heating, things like that. It's not super hard to do. It doesn't take years to fix heating and air conditioning in two buildings. It does not take years to do that. You got people in Philly and New York and other cities putting up whole apartment buildings within months. Okay, they got technology now to drop. I literally seen them drop pieces of buildings on top of each other like Lego blocks with a crane. All right, and this man got a school already there. It's already there. All right, and he had $1 million in his hand, over $1 million, and he can't get this stuff done. Come on, it's a lie. It's a scam. Wake up.